All right, let's get right into it because this is a wild one. Imagine this. One day, a company's stock is tanking. The very next day, it's absolutely skyrocketing. Now, this isn't some made up story. It's exactly what happened to the EV maker, Rivian. And we're about to decode this whole stock market mystery and figure out what in the world an AI powered future has to do with it all.
So, this all kicks off with a couple of days that had to be just baffling for anyone watching Rivian stock. At first glance, the numbers just didn't make any sense.
I mean, this is the big question, right? How on earth does a stock drop 6% after a big company announcement, only to turn around and shoot up 12% the very next day? What did Wall Street suddenly figure out overnight?
And just look at the whiplash here. That 12% jump on Friday didn't just cancel out Thursday's drop, it completely blew past it. A swing that wild tells you something big happened. It's like Wall Street had a massive change of heart. The real trick is figuring out why. Well, it turns out the answer was hiding in plain sight, inside Rivian's Autonomy and AI Day. This is where the company dropped a bunch of clues that, once everyone put them together, totally flipped the script. So let's see what they actually revealed. They didn't just announce one thing. They came out swinging with a whole suite of tech. We're talking a new subscription service, Autonomy Plus, their own custom AI chip, the RAP1, which is a huge deal because it replaces the NVIDIA chips they were using, a super advanced LiDAR system for their future cars, and even a new AI voice assistant. Yeah, this was definitely not just some minor update. And a big piece of that puzzle was LiDAR. Now, if you're not super familiar with the term, just think of it like the car's high-tech eyes. It shoots out lasers to build this incredibly detailed 3D map of everything around it. And that's, well, it's absolutely essential if you want to get to true self-driving. Okay, so here's the real takeaway from all this. When you put all those pieces together, it's pointing to a massive shift in strategy. Rivian is basically shouting from the rooftops that they're not just a truck company anymore. Nope. They're a software and AI company that just so happens to build awesome vehicles to put all that tech into. And you can really see how ambitious they are when you put them side by side with Tesla. Rivian's new Autonomy Plus service, it's going to cover a massive 3.5 million miles of road, and it costs about half of what Tesla's charging for its full self-driving. That is throwing down the gauntlet big time. And you better believe the experts took notice. Analysts over at Barclays basically said, hey, look, besides Tesla, Rivian is the one making a serious play to lead the whole software-defined vehicle space. You know, cars that are more like your phone. They get better and get new features just from a software update. But wait, there's more. The CEO, RJ Scaringe, also dropped some pretty big hints that all this self-driving tech could one day power a Rivian rideshare network. You know what that means, right? It puts them squarely in competition with Tesla's whole robotaxi dream, which could be a gigantic new market. So, with all this incredible news, we have to go back to our big question. Why the heck did this stock drop first? Why did it take a full day for Wall Street to wake up and smell the coffee? Well, it seems like it was just a classic case of information overload. At first, everyone saw the news and thought, okay, a car company is launching some new features. But once they had a night to sleep on it, to really digest what it all meant, the light bulb went on. They started to see the much, much bigger picture. An analyst from Needham put it perfectly. The whole perception just flipped. Rivian wasn't just adopting autonomy anymore. They were leveraging AI to build the entire thing from the ground up. They're not just adding a feature, they're changing their entire DNA. And that, my friends, is a way more valuable idea. And that new perception, it came with a big, bold number. After a day of thinking it over, Needham jacked up their price target for Rivian stock to $23 a share. That is a loud and clear vote of confidence that this AI pivot is the real deal. All right, so Rivian's laid out its new playbook. Wall Street seems to be buying in. What's next? What should we be looking for on the road ahead? If you're watching the stock chart every day, there are really two numbers people are focused on. First, can the stock stay above that $17.20 mark? That's kind of its new floor or support level. The next big hurdle is seeing if it can punch through that $19 ceiling. That's the key resistance. And it's interesting, if you zoom out a bit and look at the whole year, you see that despite all the ups and downs, Rivian has had a fantastic 2025. I mean, it's up around 40% for the year.
That's more than double the S&P 500. So clearly, even before this big AI reveal, something was brewing, and investor confidence was on the rise.
So it all comes down to this, doesn't it? The EV race is getting more crowded every single day, and Rivian is making a huge bet. A bet that the winner won't be decided by how fast the car goes or how far it can drive on a charge. They're betting it'll be decided by software, by AI. And so the big question for everyone, for investors, for the whole car industry is this: is software about to become Rivian's superpower?